So what's going on, guys? DIY Dan, Saltwater Junkie here again. About a year ago I bought this Orlushy DC water pump and it operates in wave mode. I said I'd do a 1-year review on it, so that's what we're going to do. I'm also going to go over some of the changes I've made to my 125 system, so let's get to it. So you can see the pump down in there. If you look closely at the hose, you can see the wave mode and it pulsing the hose. So I haven't had any issues whatsoever with this pump. Like I said, it's been a year that I've had it without any issues. It has never been out of the tank. It has never been taken apart. So hopefully I get 4 or 5 years out of this pump. I will do a yearly review just to let you guys know how it's doing. And if it lasts that long, then this is a smoking deal for what you pay for this pump, for the amount of volume it puts out. So there's a view of the controller, and obviously it's been here a while because I got a nice dust layer over it. Now, if I remember correctly, the mode function is what switches you between constant and wave mode, and the up and down is how you do your volume as far as what it pushes out. And the fish food is obviously I think it's a 10-minute delay. If you push that, it gives you 10 minutes to feed the fish, and then it will click back on. Don't quote me on that, because honestly the last time I messed with this controller was about a year ago. But it was not difficult to set up initially. There's a good view of the water motion. You can see how turbulent the top of that water is. So the wave function is working great. So one thing is, this pump has never been ran dry either. Because of my auto top off that I have never ran this pump low on water. Because I am a firm believer that if you ever run a submersible aquarium pump dry for any length of time, that you are drastically going to shorten the lifespan of that pump. So now we'll go over an update on the rest of the sump. This protein skimmer, this Reef Dynamics, which I don't even think they're in business anymore, but this thing's 4 years old, I believe, close to it. Haven't had an issue with it. Honestly, my Denitrator, if it was more bulky and took up more room, I'd probably eliminate it because I just don't think it's doing anything. If you want to reduce your nitrates, phosphates, etc., I highly recommend doing an algae scrubber. So I'm not sure how long ago I put this algae scrubber in, probably a year, maybe a year and a half, 2 years. But my nitrates immediately started dropping on this system. When I put the algae scrubbers in on my other system, which had more of a bio load, they started stabilizing instead of constantly climbing. When I did the huge algae scrubber build, my nitrates immediately started dropping, and now they are under 10. Which I had a hard time keeping them below like 50 or 60 on that other system with all the bio load I have on that. So again, this setup works awesome with the algae scrubbers, putting the water into the REFUGIUM, so as you're not using a separate pump. And obviously a big REFUGIUM would obviously help with your nitrates as well. Just look at the algae buildup I have in this REFUGIUM. And that is obviously helping as well with the nitrates and phosphates. I do have to, I'm going to make a little box, and I haven't done it yet, but I am going to make a box to give me a little bit more bigger surface area on my drain, because you can see right there that the algae is starting to clutter up that drain, so I do have to clean that off. Ooh, and actually, yeah, my water level's high because of how dirty that strainer's got. So I actually need to do that right now. So I've been thinking about how to do a bigger strainer for quite some time, and what I came up with is using an old fish food container. I drilled a bunch of holes in it, took the stickers off the side. I actually ran it through the dishwasher a couple times. That loosened up the sticker material quite a bit. And then I used some Goo Gone to wipe down the rest of the outside of the container to get the glue off of it, and then ran it through the dishwasher one more time to make sure nothing was left on the outside of the container. Then I took the lid of the container and got one of my bulkheads that was the same size as the drain in the tank, drilled a hole so it would fit over the bulkhead inside the tank. Then I used an extra nut that I had from a broken bulkhead, so that way I can place the cap over the bulkhead in the tank, put an extra nut on it, and then just spin the container on and off as needed so I can clean it off. So I think this is going to end up working out really well, and now I don't have to be as worried about that possibly getting clogged up because it was such a small strainer. Now I did always have the secondary drain in case that did happen, but if that does get clogged, my level's got to go up to about this far before the secondary drain starts kicking in, and therefore that's going to empty my auto top off, you know, so I feel a lot better about this, and this seemed to work out pretty good. I did update my auto top off. I had a trash can sitting here, it's about 12 gallons. I wanted a little bit more volume, plus with the trash can sitting here I couldn't really use the storage underneath this shelf, so I had an extra 20-gallon aquarium, and I decided to use that, so it's tucked under the shelf, and it cleared me up a lot of space in my fish room here. So I'm kind of excited about that, because this room was kind of a disaster, and this tidied it up quite a bit. So one other thing I did, it's kind of hard to see, but you're looking at my overflows in the corners of my tanks right now, and what I've had happen a couple times is my drain in my overflow on both sides would almost get completely clogged with algae. So what I did was I cut a couple pieces of plastic out to put over just the overflows on top of the aquarium, and I'm going to show you right here. This is without the piece of plastic on it. Now I have covered it with that piece of plastic, so hopefully with less light I will get less algae growth in that corner, so hopefully I don't have to clean out the overflows as much. So here is a water test that I just did. I figured I'd show you guys so you know I'm not full of crap on my nitrates and ammonia levels and readings. That's just the pH, so but there's my nitrates. We're running almost 0, definitely less than 5. Ammonia's reading 0. My phosphates are at about, I don't know, maybe 0.25, definitely less than 0.50. So I am still struggling with a couple things on this aquarium, including an algae bloom in the main display that I'm still fighting, trying to get rid of. And my corals aren't doing the greatest still. I've got good calcium and magnesium levels. Something is just not quite right as far as that goes, and I'm still working on figuring that out. But hope you guys got some good information out of this video and it helped you out. If so, hit like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hope to see you next time. Have a good one. Later.